same thing. So, okay, here we go. We have Dalit. Until the tabernacle was erected, Bamas were permitted and the service was performed by the firstborns. When the tabernacle was erected, the Bamas became forbidden and the service was performed by Kohanim. The most holy offerings were eaten within the curtains, and the offerings of lesser holiness throughout the Israelite camp. They came in Gilgal, and the Bamas were permitted. The most holy offerings were eaten within the curtains. The offerings of lesser holiness could be eaten anywhere. When they came to Shiloh, the Bamas were forbidden. There was no roof there, but a stone house beneath and a canopy of cloth above, and it was like the resting place. The most holy offerings were eaten within the curtains, and the offerings of lesser holiness and Ma'aser Shani anywhere within sight.
Okay, Zion. Carrying on the history lesson of what happened when the Mishkan moved from place to place.
Okay, so I'm just going to take this cat out of here because he's going to mess
you
up.
Go ahead.
Come on, you nice cat. Out you go. There you go. Go ahead. All right, good girl. Okay, sorry. Okay.
So when the Mishkan moved to Nov and to Givon, Hutru Habamos, then once again it was permitted to bring personal sacrifices. So if a person wanted to bring shlamim, wanted to bring an ola, he could do it on his personal mizbeach. Still, if you wanted to bring a mizbeach, if you wanted to bring a chatas or an asham, something that was for a particular chait, you still had to go to the Mishkan to do it there, because you still had to eat the Kohanim had to eat the chatas and the asham, and that had to be within the curtains.
Was there a special reason they now allow them to use the bamos, personal bamos?
So why? So after it had been usher in Shiloh, so it was after Shiloh was destroyed, and the Aron was taken by the Plishtim.
Right.
This is the time of Eli HaKohen, right? The Plishtim took it, and then the Plishtim had all sorts of trouble with the Aron, and they were getting all sorts of sicknesses and whatever. And they said, okay, we just got to send this back to the Jews. It's causing too much trouble for us. So they put it on the back of some oxen, and the oxen just like went ahead, and they brought the first place that it came back to was to Nov. And then after Nov was destroyed by Shaul HaMelech, it was they moved the Mishkan to Givon. So in these places, it wasn't a permanent place. It wasn't a well built up place. So it wasn't considered a sort of a kavua resting place for the Aron, and therefore we went back to the original heter of having bamos all around.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
And kochim kalim, however, could be eaten in any city in Israel. So kochim kalim, like the shlamim and the toda and the ola. Well, ola wasn't eaten, but it was the kochim kalim nonetheless could be eaten anywhere. Okay, Baal Yerushalayim. So finally, when David HaMelech brought the Aron to Yerushalayim, that was it. There was no more. There was no more bamos ever. Okay, that was the end of Bamos for all of history. And this is the place that's called Nachala. So the Torah refers to Manucha and it refers to Nachala. This is the Nachala. Yerushalayim is the inheritance. Once again, the most holies are eaten inside the curtains. So all the lesser holies and Ma'aser Sheni must be eaten inside the walls of Jerusalem. So now let's look at an edge case where a guy made hekdesh. He declared an animal to be hekdesh at a time in the time of Shiloh. Okay, so this is the only way this is going to work out. Is during the time of Shiloh, it's usher to make a bama. Okay, and then Shiloh got destroyed. And now he says, well, okay, I can't bring my shlamim to Shiloh anymore. What must I do? Hikrivan b'shas isur. So, beg your pardon. Before this happens, while Shiloh's still standing, he decides to bring this korban in at home instead of bringing it to Shiloh. Harei elu ba'aseh v'lo ta'aseh v'chayavin alav alein kares. So he's chayav for an assay that he has to bring it to the because it says v'hayama kol asher yivcha Hashem elokechem bo l'shachen shemo shama taviu. It says you have to bring your korban there. Kol asher anechim etzaveschem. And then there's also a lot aseh that says hishamer lecha penta leolosecha b'chol makom asher tireh, that you may not bring it in just any stam place. So you've got an assay and a lot assay, and he's chayav kares for it, because as the pasuk says, ish mi beis Yisrael asher yaleh ola o zevach el pesach oil moed lo yivenu v'nichras ha'ish shahu me'amav. So this is a chayav kares. This is whether it's talking about Shiloh or Yerushalayim. Hikdishan b'shas heter bamos. Now what happens if he was makdishet when it was time, when it was in Givon? Okay. V'hikrivan b'shas isur bamos, and so he was makdishet, and then David HaMelech arrived and said, okay, the temple, we now got the Aron in Yerushalayim, no more bamos allowed. And the guy says, what the heck, I don't feel like bringing it to Yerushalayim. I did it because I wanted to bring it in my home. So he goes ahead and still sacrifices it in his private bama. He's still chayiv for the aseh and the lo taseh, as we said before, because those are both equally applicable. But there's no chiyuv kares over here. Okay, why is there no kares? So the darsha shekasav ze medaber bekodshim shekdisham b'shas heter abamos v'krivam b'shas isra abamos. Ilu hikrivam al pnei asadeh. So it's actually different psukim over here. So it's a different mitzvah asay when we're talking about something that was mukdash during the time of heter bamos v'lo yizbechu od, and then there's a lot asay that says v'lo yizbechu od, but there's no chiyuv kares on this because it says tiazos lahem ledorasam, and the drasha is zos lahem, right? It's only the halacha for them is this for them, but not but nothing else. In other words, that the onish of the aseh and the lo taseh bilvad is all that this person gets, but not kares. Because it's a different circumstance from our first case where he was makdish at the time of the isur bamos. Okay. Now what about the case hikdishan b'shas isur bamos? So he was makdish during the time of Shiloh. When it's asked to bring it on a personal mizbeach, v'hikrivan b'shas heter bamos. Okay, and now Shiloh got destroyed, and now he's allowed to the bamos, personal bamos are allowed, but the problem was that he was makdishet at the time that he thought he had to bring it to Shiloh. So this is he's over on a mitzvah asay, because at the time that he was makdishet, he was chayev in an assay of bringing it to Hashem, to El Pesach Oil Moed. So he did have to bring it to the Oil Moed, but there's no lo taseh because mikol sheken. Of course, there's no kares on him because when he brought it, it was mutar to bring on a bama. The only thing is that he missed out on the opportunity to bring it at the to bring it to the Mishkan. Now, interesting, like. It's an interesting question, like what's he supposed to do? What is the halacha at that point? Should he actually bring it? Okay, he's missed out on the mitzvah asay because it's impossible now for him to bring it. So is that now an honest and say, okay, well, now I can't bring it, therefore I should bring it at home, or should I just do a pidyon on it, or wait for it to develop a mum and something like that? It doesn't actually say what the halacha is that what he should do with it. Yeah, Kahati doesn't mention what the halacha lechatchila would be in such a case. I don't know. Does Artscroll say anything?
See,
the last case of our Mishnah.
Right. I don't see. It's a very long comment on here, so it might be something in here, but it's very long. And,
okay.
I have to go through this whole thing. It's like 2 pages.
Okay. No, all right. So we're almost finished Zevachim. Tomorrow we're gonna move on to Menachos.
Okay. All right.
Okay, and let's go back to Yud Aleph Hey.
We're still staying in Zevachim anyway. So, if the cloth, this was Yud Aleph Hey. If the cloth garment was taken outside the curtains, he should re-enter with it and wash it in a holy place. If it was contaminated with tumah outside the curtains, he should rip it, and then re-enter and wash it in its holy place. If the earthenware vessel was taken outside the curtains, he should re-enter with it and break it into a holy place. If it was contaminated with tumah outside the curtains, he should puncture it and then re-enter and break it in a holy place. If the copper vessel was taken outside the curtains, he should re-enter with it and purge it and rinse it on a holy place. If it was contaminated with tumah outside the curtains, he should breach it. He should breach it, re-enter, and purge it and rinse it in a holy place. Whether one cooked it or poured hot liquid into it, whether it was the meat of the most holy offerings or of the holy offerings of lesser holiness, they require purging and rinsing. And Shimon said, offerings of lesser holiness do not require purging and rinsing. The Tarfon says, if one cooked in it from the beginning of the festival, he may continue to cook in it for the entire festival. But the comments say, with the conclusion of the period of eating comes the requirement of purging and rinsing. Purging is as one purges a cup, and rinsing is as one rinses a cup. Purging is done with hot water, and rinsing with cold water, and the spit and the grill are purged in hot water. Okay. All right, that's it.
Yeah. All right. Horayos.
Arios. Okay, Aleph Day. If a city has an idolatrous service in it, it is permitted to transact business outside the city.
Wait a second. You're in. It sounds like a Vodazara, what you're doing there. We're in Horayos.
I'm going to go to anything that's just really one thing. Sorry. Here we go. Okay. Okay. The idol of a Gentile becomes prohibited immediately, but that of a
Stop. You're in a Vodazara. You're in the wrong Masechta. We want Horayos. It may be that you're sharing a volume that the article print them together. So maybe you need to be halfway through the book or something like that.
I'll that one. Okay. If the court ruled and one of them knew that they had erred and said to them, "You are mistaken," and if one of them was a convert or a mamzer or a Nisanite or an elder who never had children, these are exempt. Where it says here Ada, and it says further on Ada. And just as in the case of the Ada, which is said further on, they must all be fit to rule. So too the Ada, which has said here, means until they are all fit for legal ruling. If the court ruled inadvertently and all the people acted inadvertently, they bring a bull. If they ruled willfully and the people acted inadvertently, they must bring each a she-lamb or a she-goat. And if they ruled inadvertently and the people acted willfully, they are exempt. If the court ruled and all the people or most of them acted on their word, they bring a bull, and for idolatry, they bring a bull and a goat. These are the words of Rav Meir. Rabbi Yehuda says 12 tribes bring 12 bulls, and for idolatry, they bring 12 bulls and 12 goats. Rav Shimon says 13 bulls for idolatry, 13 bulls and 13 goats, a bull and a goat for each tribe, and a bull and a goat for the count. For the court. If the court ruled and 7 tribes acted, or most of them, on their word, they bring a bull, and for idolatry, they bring a bull and a goat. These are the words of Rav Meir. Rabbi Yehuda says 7 tribes that sinned bring 7 bulls, and the rest of the tribes that did not bring a bull, that did not sin, bring a bull because of them. For even those who did not sin bring because of those who sinned. Reb Shimon says 8 bulls for idolatry, 8 bulls and 8 goats, and a bull and a goat for each tribe, and a bull and a goat for the court. If the court of one of the tribes ruled that the tribe acted on their word, the tribe is liable, but the rest of the tribes are exempt. And these are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. But the comments say they are not liable except for ruling of the whole high court, and as it is said, if the whole assembly of Israel errs, not the assembly of that tribe. Okay. If the anointed Kohen can rule permissibly for himself, that if he ruled inadvertently and he acted inadvertently, he brings a bull, but if he ruled inadvertently and acted willfully, or if he ruled willfully and acted inadvertently, he is exempt, because the ruling of the anointed Kohen for himself is like the ruling of the court for the community. If he ruled independently and acted independently, he is stoned for independently. If he ruled with the community and acted with the community, he is atoned with the community. If the court is not liable unless it rules to abolish part and retain part, and so too the anointed Kohen, and neither are they liable with regard to idolatry unless they rule to abolish part and retain part. Okay?
Yeah.
That's it.
Hold on a second. Where did you? Oh, hang on. You went all the way through bet. Okay, fine. We were actually meant to stop it after Aleph.
I'll start a bet tomorrow then.
Yeah. Okay.
Bet
Um,
Aleph,
right.
Aleph
Shavuot Dalet Hey.
bet Aleph tomorrow?
Yes. Base starting with base tomorrow.
All right, we have Shavuos. Shavuos. Dalet Hey. I adore you that you come and testify for me that I have in so and so's I had so and so's possession a deposit, a loan, a stolen article, and a lost article. And they reply, we swear that do we not know any testimony for you, and they are liable only once. But if they reply, we swear that we do not know that you have in so and so's possession a deposit, a loan, a stolen article, and a lost article, they are liable for each one. I adore you that you come and testify to me that I have in so and so's possession a deposit of wheat, barley, and spelt. And they reply, we swear that we do not know any testimony for you. They are liable only once. But if they reply, we swear that do we not know any testimony for you that you have in so and so's possession wheat, barley, and spelt, they're liable for each one. I adore you that you come and testify for me that I have in so and so's possession damages or half damages, double payments, 4 and 4 5 payment, or that so and so violated my daughter or seduced my daughter, or that my son struck me, or that so and so violated his daughter. I'm sorry, that's wrong. And that my neighbor wounded me, or that he ignited my stack of grain on Yom Kippur, they are liable. I adore you that you come and testify to me that I am a Kohen, that I am a Levi, that I am not the son of a divorcee, that I am not the son of a Kalutza, and so is a Kohen. These so and that so and so is a Levi, but he is not the son of a divorcee, and that he is not the son of Kalutza. If so and so violated his daughter or reduced his daughter, and that my son wounded me, that my neighbor wounded me, or ignited my sack of grain on Sabbath, these are exempt. Okay.
Nadarim.
Solid Zion. If one is prohibited by another to benefit from another, and he does not have what to eat, the other person goes to the storekeeper and says, so and so is prohibited by another to benefit from me, and I don't know what to do. He gives him and collects from this one. If he had a house to be built, a fence to be erected, or a field to be harvested, the other person goes to the workers and says, so and so is prohibited by another to benefit from me, and I don't know what to do. They may work for him and collect wages from this one. If they were traveling on the road and he did not have what to eat, he gives food to someone else as a gift, and that one is permitted it. If there was no one else with them, he puts it on a rock or on a fence and says, these are free for whomever should want, and that one takes and eats, and Rabbi Yossi however forbids this. Okay, next one. Partners who are prohibited with another the benefit of each other are forbidden to enter the yard. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov says this one is entering in his own property and this one is entering in his own property. But both are forbidden to install a mill or an oven there or to raise chickens. If one of them was prohibited from another from benefiting from the other, he may not enter the yard. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov says he may say to him, I am entering my own property, I am not entering yours. We force the one who made the nether to sell his share. And we go on to Meiser Sheni. Meiser Sheni, Gimel Dalet. Produce in Yerushalayim and money in the country. He may say, this money is in exchange for that produce. Money in Yerushalayim and produce in the country, he may say, this money is in exchange for that produce, provided the produce is taken up and eaten in Yerushalayim. So money brought into Yerushalayim may be taken out again, but produce may not be taken out again. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel says produce brought in may also be taken out again. And if produce whose work has been completed passed through Yerushalayim, its Meiser Sheni must be brought back and eaten in Yerushalayim. If his work has not been completed, baskets of grapes to the press, or baskets of figs to the drying place. Beit Shammai says their Meiser Sheni must be brought back and eaten in Yerushalayim. Beit Hillel says they may be redeemed and eaten anywhere. Reb Shimon ben Yehuda says in the name of Reb Yossi, Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel did not disagree concerning Meiser Sheni produce whose work has not been completed, that it may be redeemed and eaten anywhere. About what did they disagree? About produce whose work has been completed. Beit Shammai say that Meiser Sheni must be brought back and eaten in Yerushalayim, and Beit Hillel say it may be redeemed and eaten anywhere, but the Mai may be brought in and taken out and redeemed. Okay. And we are in Gayim. Daled Chet. Baharis the size of a grist expanded by half of a grist, but half of a grist of the original Baharis disappeared. Rabbi Akiva says it must be examined anew, and the sages render it tahor. The Baharis the size of a grist expanded more than half a grist, but half a grist of the original Baharis disappeared, and Rabbi Akiva renders it tameh, and sages render it tahor. The Baharis the size of a grist expanded by more than a grist, but the original Baharis disappeared. Rabbi Akiva renders it tameh, and the sages say it must be examined anew. The Baharis the size of a grist expanded on an additional grist, living skin or white hair then appeared outside the expansion, and the original nega disappeared. Rabbi Akiva renders it tameh, and the sages say it must be examined anew. Baharis half the size of a grist has no other symptoms inside it. Another Baharis half the size of a grist appears, which has one white hair. This nega is confined. The Baharis half the size of a grist has one white hair. Another Baharis half the size of a grist appears, also having one white hair, and the nega is confined. Baharis half the size of a grist has two white hairs above. Another Baharis half the size of a grist appears, containing one right here, and the nega is confined.
Okay. Zehu.
Okay, great. By the way, I want to ask you, I told my son-in-law I couldn't